Welcome to Global Hypnotherapy, the podcast that helps you understand your mind, change what keeps you stuck, and move forward with greater calm, confidence, and control. There is a certain kind of man who doesn't fall apart loudly. He doesn't make a scene. He doesn't tell everyone he's struggling. He doesn't always ask for help, and he doesn't always have the words for what is happening inside him. He just goes quiet. And because he still gets up in the morning, still goes to work, still pays the bills, still answers, "I'm grand," people assume he's fine. But sometimes quiet is not peace. Sometimes quiet is a man slowly disappearing from himself. Now this episode is about that man. The man who has stopped texting first. The man who avoids calls. The man who sits in the car for a few moments before going into the house. The man who lies awake at night with his mind racing. The man who has conversations in his head that he never has out loud. And that silence, I should be able to handle this, is often where the damage begins. Because many men are trained, directly or indirectly, to treat silence as strength. Oh, say nothing, keep moving, don't complain, don't burden anyone, sort it out yourself. Be useful, be strong, be grand. And for a while, that may work. But only for a while. Because what is pushed down does not always disappear. Sometimes it shows up somewhere else. It shows up as irritability, as bad sleep, as withdrawal from things, drinking more than usual, smoking more, comfort eating. It may show up as a tight chest, as tense stomach, headaches, fatigue, or a body that feels permanently on alert. The man may say, "I don't know what's wrong with me." But very often, he is not broken. He is overloaded, and there is a difference. A broken man needs fixing. An overloaded man needs space, structure, support, and a practical way to stop the spiral before it takes over his life. I've learned through the years something very important. Men do not always present their pain as sadness. Sometimes they present it as anger, as distance, sarcasm, numbness. "Oh, leave me alone, I'm fine." Sometimes as working constantly because stopping would mean feeling what they have been avoiding. And this is where we need to be honest. When a man goes quiet, it is easy to misread him. His partner may think he doesn't care. His friends may think he's being distant. His family may think he is just tired. Or perhaps his workmates may think he is moody. And he may even tell himself, "This is just the way I am." But it may not be the way he is. It may be the way he has learned to cope. And that is a very different thing, because learned responses can be changed. The mind and body are constantly learning. They learn from pressure. They learn from fear. They learn from disappointment. They learn from grief, from shame. They learn from repeated stress. And they learn from years of having to be the one who keeps going. So if a man has spent years pushing down what he feels, the nervous system may begin to treat openness as danger. Talking feels dangerous. Resting feels dangerous. Asking for help feels dangerous. Being honest feels dangerous. And letting someone close feels dangerous. So he's quiet, not because he has feelings, often because he has too many feelings and no clear way to process them. There is a powerful phrase I often come back to. Functioning is not the same as living. A man can function and still be suffering. He can go to work and still be lost. He can provide and still feel empty. He can laugh in company and still feel alone. He can be surrounded by people and still have no one he feels able to speak to honestly. And when that continues, life can become very small. He stops making plans. He stops looking forward to things. He stops taking care of himself. He stops feeling connected, and he starts living in survival mode. Now, survival mode has a purpose. It helps us get through danger. It helps us keep going during pressure. It helps us endure difficult seasons. But survival mode was never meant to become a permanent address. You're not meant to live there forever. When a man stays in survival mode too long, his body begins to pay the price. His sleep changes. His concentration changes. His patience changes. His confidence changes. His relationships change. And his sense of himself changes. And very often he waits until things are almost unbearable before he reaches out. And this is a mistake. You do not have to wait until you collapse before you change direction. You do not have to hit rock bottom before you take your own life seriously. And you do not have to be in crisis before you deserve help. Now let's strip this right back. A man who goes quiet may not need pity. He may need a practical way forward. He may need to understand what is happening inside him. He may need to learn to interrupt mental spiral, to stop the spiral. He may need to stop treating his body like an enemy. He may need to rebuild routine, sleep, movement, connection, purpose, and confidence. He may need to learn that talking is not weakness. He may need to learn that asking for support is not failure. He may need to learn that he is not alone in this. Many men are carrying more than they admit. Pressure around money, around work, around family, around health, around aging, around identity, around feeling useful, around not wanting to disappoint people. And here's the trap. The man believes he must carry it alone because carrying it alone proves he is strong. But strength is not silence. Strength is not slowly disappearing and calling it discipline. Strength is not pretending you are grand while your mind is running you into the ground. Real strength is the ability to face what is happening and do something useful with it. Not dramatic, not performative, not vague, useful. One honest conversation, one decision to stop hiding, one practical step towards structure, one strategy to interrupt the spiral, one change in how the mind and body respond under pressure. And that is where change begins, not with a motivational quote, not with somebody telling you to man up. Not with pretending everything is fine. Change begins when a man says, even quietly to himself, "This is costing me too much." That sentence matters. Because once a man sees the cost, he can begin to choose differently. And the cost may be sleep, it may be intimacy, it may be peace of mind, health, maybe relationship with his children. The cost may be his confidence, and the cost may be the life he has slowly stopped participating in. And when he sees that clearly, the question changes. It is no longer what's wrong with me. It becomes, what response have I learned, and how can I begin to change it? Now, this is a much better question, because it moves the man out of shame and into action, and action is so important. In my work, I don't begin by asking what's wrong with you, and I probably say this many, many times. I'm far more interested in asking, what has your mind and body learned to do under pressure? Do you shut down? Do you overthink? Do you avoid? Do you get angry? Do you numb yourself? Do you keep busy? Or do you pretend you're fine? Do you just carry everything alone? Because when we can identify the pattern, we can begin to work with it, and that matters also. Because the man who goes quiet is not always unreachable. Sometimes he is waiting for the right doorway, not a lecture, not judgment, or a label, a doorway. A way to say, this makes sense, and it can change. That is the message I want to leave with you today. If you are the man who has gone quiet, you are not weak, but you do need to pay attention. Silence can become a habit, avoidance can become a habit, overthinking also can become a habit, and emotional shutdown can become a habit. And pretending you're grand can become a habit, and habits do not change simply because we dislike them. They change when we interrupt them and create a new response. So start with honesty, not public honesty, not dramatic honesty, private honesty. Ask yourself, am I actually grand? Or have I just become good at saying it? Am I living? Or am I just functioning? Am I connected, or am I disappearing? Am I in control, or is the spiral running me? Those are not comfortable questions, but they are useful questions. And useful questions can open doors. Now, if this episode speaks to you, take it seriously, not because you are broken, because you matter. Your sleep matters, your peace of mind matters, your relationships matter, your health matters, your life matters. And you do not have to keep carrying everything in silence. And if you're tired of saying, oh, I'm grand, I'm fine, whilst carrying everything alone, just book a strategy call with me today, just to have a conversation. Because when a man goes quiet, it's time to take action. This has been Global Hypnotherapy with Aidan Noone. Thank you for listening. Until next time, bye-bye for now.